This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत.
ये है भारत FM.
बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत.
श्रोताओं, भारत एफएम के रंगारंग कार्यक्रम के प्रायोजक हैं आपके चहीते होस्ट और दोस्त आशीष झा. पेशे से है ये इंजीनियर, लेकिन माहौल बनाने में है माहिर. हुए हैं आप रूबरू इस गबरू की स्टाइल से फ्रॉम शुरू. न सुनी हो आपने इनकी आवाज और अंदाज, तो जरूर कर ले श्रीमान आगाज. bharatfm.com के रिकॉर्ड्स या कर ले कॉन्टैक्ट 5134885070 पर मिलाड्स.
Namaskar, Bhenu Bhaiyo. Thank you very much for joining us today. We are going to start a new show. It's called Kahani Kashmir Ki. So welcome to the very first episode of Kahani Kashmir Ki. I'm your host, Deepika Zucchi. Today we are going to be talking with a very, very eminent Kashmiri Pandit personality. He has a very long filmography. He's an actor, director, producer, and most of all, he is a social activist who has been working tirelessly for the last 30 plus years to enhance and improve the situation of the displaced Kashmiri Pandits. So let's welcome Mr. Pandit. Mr. Pandit, very, very welcome to you, to the show Kahani Kashmir Ki. Let's start with the questions right away. Mr. Pandit, please paint a picture for us about the situation in Kashmir today and how the world powers and world media has failed the Kashmiri community and failed to recognize the genocide of Kashmiri Pandits today.
So India now, with the strength and strong leadership of Narendra Modi, has started identifying with these people. All you see what Greenpeace there was a Greenpeace NGO which was funding money for terrorism. So money was being routed through these organizations, these NGOs who supported terrorism. And the money is in crores, Deepika. It's in crores.
Yeah.
So the faces have changed. They have grown to different masks. You can have Burhan Wani on one side. You can have Arundhati Roy on one side. You can have these Gretas and Disha Ravis and all these people. So this entire gang have got to see to it that this country doesn't arise. So it's not only a problem of Kashmir. We are suffering. We're still suffering. We're still fighting our battle. But this country now is facing a battle of the enemies within and enemies outside.
True.
It's very important for our country to fight all those people who are living in this country, those sophisticated people who are multimillionaires, who are supported by the Congress, supported by communist parties, supported by all other political parties, because Deepika, everybody's enemy is one. That is Narendra Modi. So all those people, jinka
have
dushman, they have combined. But you saw what happened in last Lok Sabha election, they were wiped out. That doesn't make a difference, but it really hampers the growth of the country.
True, I totally agree with you. Let me ask you one question, Mr. Pandit. What can the community spread out had to flee the valley? It was, it was not by choice. It was definitely a very, very forced situation. We've spread all across the globe now. We are living like refugees in our own country in India, and all the people who did leave the country and are outside the country, I know that I talk to a lot of people in the community, their hearts are still in the valley. So what can the Kashmiri diaspora do to help the cause right now. A lot of people are very, very nostalgic about the valley. A lot of people want to go back to the valley. What can the diaspora do to help the entire community get stronger?
Deepika, I'll tell you one thing. With my experiences since 1990, I have been, in touch, and I have been fighting all kinds of battles with people. We are there throughout our entire space of phase since the last 31 years. You see, when the exodus happened, when the genocide happened, people, when they came out of Jammu Kashmir, I was there in Jammu. The entire population came and got settled down in Jammu first because there were camps. Nobody knew who's where, kiske rishtar kahan pe hai, kya nahi. So camps, because nearly 65 to 70%, 75% of the Kashmiri Pandit community had not crossed Banyar Tunnel. They have lived in Kashmir, especially the senior citizens, the senior people, our parents, our grandparents. They never crossed Banyar Tunnel. They never Johar Tunnel. They never had come to even Jammu for that matter.
Yeah.
So it took time for us for our people to settle down in refugee camps, and nobody knew that this is going to continue for 31 years.
Yeah.
We thought that it's going to be a simple problem. Problem happened. हुआ ऐसा, हम महीने 2 महीने 3 महीने में वापस लौटेंगे.
Yeah.
लेकिन ये डाइजेस्ट करना, ये हजम करना, ये परमानेंट प्रॉब्लम हो चुकी है.
Yeah.
उस प्रॉब्लम के साथ जीते जीते हमारी 2 जनरेशन खत्म हो चुकी है.
Yeah.
हमारी 2 जनरेशन मर चुकी है. हमारी 2 जनरेशन ने सफर किया. हमारी 2 जनरेशन ने ये एक्सेप्ट करने को तैयार नहीं थे कि हमको वापस नहीं जाना है. वो रोज अपनी कश्मीर की मिट्टी की सुगंध सूंघते थे. वो रोज अपने घर के दरवाजों को खटखटाते थे. वो रोज अपनी घर की चाबियों के साथ चाबियों को देख के रोते थे. वो रोज उन चाबियों को अपने गले लगाते थे. वो रोज अपने घर की तस्वीरों को याद करते थे. और जितने भी बुजुर्ग हमारे हैं जो आज भी जिंदा हैं, वो सब डिमेंशिया के पेशेंट्स हो चुके हैं. They talk about their home. They feel that they are in Kashmir. I've seen my father-in-law, who was a professor, Rija's father, died with dementia, who suffered for nearly 3-4 years in his last stage because he used to talk only about his home. He used to live in Pampur, and he used to abuse Farooq Abdullah whenever he used to see him on television. Abuse to what language, what extent, that this man has no right to live because he has done that to us.
Yeah.
So this entire generation went off, and till the time, because I was talking about Balasaheb Thackeray. I was in Mumbai. So when the exodus happened, my problem in Jammu was seeing the youngsters, the college students, the school students, who had lost education because there was no facility for education.
Mm-hmm.
Our basic, strength was our education.
Yes.
They're all educated. मुझे नहीं लगता कि हमको हमारी सबसे बड़ी जायदाद हम समझते थे कि हमारी पढ़ाई लिखाई और हमारी अभिज्ञता. So fortunately, because I was in Mumbai, I was very close to Balasaheb Thackeray, and I requested him that because I used to move around with him during election campaign and all that, and I used to narrate what happened to Kashmiri Hindus, and he was so kind enough to give me a platform to talk about what happened to us. Mm-hmm. And he once said, "What do you think? What is the best thing to be done? What do you need? What do you think? How can we help our brethren, Kashmiri Hindus?"
Yeah. Right.
So my father advised me, peace be his soul, he's not in no more. He said, "I think education is our strength. Ask him to give us education." And I told him that he please create 2 seats in every faculty of education, and let people from this disturbed area come and get education here. Mm-hmm. And he was so strong enough that he saw to it that he brings out a notification, and notification came out in one time. And generation after me, they started moving to Mumbai for education. So 900 students, nearly 1,000 students, they started getting education in Maharashtra, and then other state governments, they started following up.
Also followed, yes.
The entire generation after my generation started getting education. They didn't get into television, they didn't get into drugs, They didn't get into gangs. They didn't get into terrorism. They didn't kill people. They didn't rape women.
Right.
They started getting pension. Today, the
Right.
answer to the question that globally our youngsters who are settled have settled down because Bala Thackeray and other political parties like BJP, they sought with that we get our, because after Maharashtra, Gujarat started, then Himachal started.
Yes.
All
Yes.
these states, they started giving education.
Right.
So
Right.
now I'm narrating you the transformation of generations. Okay, so next generation they got settled. They in America, they in London, everywhere they're doing well, and now the generation after the next generation, 21-year-old, 18-year-old kids,
Yes.
19-year-old kids who are not born in Kashmir,
Mhm.
who are not aware what happened to us in Kashmir.
Right.
Historically, we don't know, but Deepika, you will be surprised. I'm in touch with most of that generation. Now, my generation and generation before me, we got busy with settling down because it was a
Yes.
very difficult task. No?
Right.
How to
Right.
settle down first. So this
True.
entire 30 years went
Yeah.
by to settle down, to settle at a place or something like that, so that
Right.
ये हम अपना होश संभाल रहे थे,
Right.
हमारे घर वाले कहाँ हैं, हमारे रिश्तेदार कहाँ हैं, तो सेटलमेंट में
Exactly.
हमारी दो जनरेशन निकल गई.
Mhm.
Now, what is a good thing that I'm seeing now is that the youngsters, the painters, the engineers, the musicians, everybody wants to go back to Kashmir. The youth of this community is feeling more hurt because
Yes.
they listen to us in our house. They listen to what their father and mother are talking about, what happened to
Yes.
their grandparents, what they study because now, because of the digital media, because of Google and because of facilities now on they read, so you don't have to tell them. So
Right.
everybody is pained. Everybody feels that what we have lost, we have to get back. And you see, whatever whatever programs we had during this lockdown, we had programs, a lot of organizations organized seminars, webinars, musical shows. You be surprised that the generation after my generation, youngsters,
Yes.
they came and they started talking about the return of Kashmiri
Yes.
back to Kashmir.
Yep. Yep.
19-year-old kids are talking, 20-year-old kids are 17-year-old kids are talking. They're singing
Yes.
Kashmiri songs. They're doing Kashmiri plays. They're wearing Kashmiri outfits. So
Yes.
way
Yes.
that identification, that entire thing of return. Fortunately, people say, मतलब कुछ लोग हैं बहुत ही डिस्करेज करते हैं कि कौन जाएगा कश्मीर, किसको जाना है, हम तो सेटल हो गए बाहर. So that defeatist attitude is not the.
Yes. Yeah.
I identify with a lot of painters who are youngsters. I identify with a lot of musicians who are youngsters. I identify with a lot of artists, a lot of poets, a lot of cinematographers, filmmakers, actors, lawyers, engineers of that age group, the student community.
Yes.
And they are painting Exodus. They are painting our
Yes.
genocide. They are singing our genocide. They're singing our, this thing. My wife, Rita, who's also a very well-known singer of
Yes.
Kashmir, she has been singing and composing songs of our return. So, what is very good and what is more positive, I don't want to sound very negative and all that, is that the next generation has decided to return and they will return. I'm quite sure of it.
Yes. Yes, and you are absolutely right. In my experience, also, I've seen that the new generation, they've retained the language, they've retained the culture, they've retained the food, they've retained the essence of being a true Kashmiri Pandit, and
Yeah.
they are
You know,
following their hearts on that.
Azubika, I'll give you an example. There's a friend of mine whose name is Deepak Dhar, who's based in Mumbai. He's also brought up in, who's born and brought up in Mumbai. His father came out of Kashmir long back. And his daughter, who's I think not more than 12 or 13-year-old, if I'm not wrong, nobody has told her Nobody, her parents have not told her. She has been listening to things, she has been reading about Kashmir and Kashmiri Hindus and all that. You'd be surprised, she has written a brilliant book on the exodus and genocide of Kashmiri Hindus,
Oh, wow.
which has made her parents shocked. They're shocked and bought a brilliant book because there was a project in school and they said you have to, this part of the project. And she has written such a brilliant book as if she was in Kashmir, she was born in Kashmir, and everything is happening in front of her. Anupam Kher has written the foreword of that book very soon. So this child has given me confidence. You know, this
Yes.
child,
Yeah.
if she tells me that no, I'm identifying with this pain of my community, and
Yeah.
we have one of the remember, guns and bombs and glass killings.
Yeah.
Terrorism will never win the war. I'm quite sure about it.
Right. Yeah, definitely see hope there too. Mr. Pandit, I would like to let you know that, we have questions that come from our viewers. So we have a couple of questions from Dr. Ajay Kaul. He is from Karanagar, Srinagar. And one of the questions that he's asked is, what is the government of India doing to ensure the safe return of Kashmiri Pandits into the valley? Can you shed some light on that, please?
Deepika, first of all, a very big thing happened because of this government is which we could have never dreamt, we could have never felt, and I'm sure nobody would have even dreamed. I also never dreamt that
Yeah.
Article 317, Article 35 will be thrown out of the window.
Yeah.
I think that is the biggest thing, biggest step forward towards our rehabilitation and our return back to Kashmir. Because without that, it would have not been possible. So one
True.
major hurdle
True.
has been crossed. One river has been crossed. Now, a patient with cancer of nearly 70 years cannot be treated overnight.
Yeah.
There's a will of this government, there's a will of our Prime Minister, our Home Minister, and the entire regime, today's regime, is very sure that this has to happen because they have promised.
Yeah.
And if anything has to happen, it will happen in this regime only, otherwise it will never happen.
Yeah.
And इनका faith है, इनको ये करना है, which they are doing it. You saw how things have started improving, but unfortunately some we recently to yesterday a Hindu was killed because of these foreign envoys who have come to India, and things are increasing. So there's a proper roadmap being planned by the government. Strategies being planned. How do we go about it? But the only thing which I would like to suggest on a program to for our present government is that whatever strategies is being planned for a return, Kashmiri Hindus should be involved in strategizing our return, because it is not an issue which a bureaucrat can solve. It is not an issue which a politician can only solve.
Yeah.
They are required, they needed to strategize,
Yes.
to plan a strategy. But our requirement, our mindset, only a Kashmiri Hindu can plan. And Kashmiri Hindus who have been working for this cause, who have been fighting day in and day out for our return,
Yes.
who have been the supporters of this regime, right from when they were in opposition also. So those people who believe in you, those people from our community who respect you, who are intellectuals, we are professors, we are activists, it's an educated community.
Yes.
So it's very important that at least 50% of the people, the committee, should be involved in planning a strategy of our return, because it's a huge thing. मतलब देखो ये ओवरनाइट होगा नहीं, क्योंकि बहुत सारी चीजें हम सेटलमेंट हमको करना है, कैसे करना है, कहाँ पे करना है, कैसे करना है, क्या करना है, जॉब्स है, ये है, वो है. ये प्लानिंग करने के लिए हमारी मांगे क्या है, हमारी चाहत क्या है, हमको कैसा एनवायरनमेंट चाहिए, तो हम बताएंगे. वो आप मुझे नहीं लगता है कि कोई आईएएस या कोई ब्यूरोक्रेट हमको बताएगा. Secondly, what I also have we have approached the present government that Kashmiri Hindu refugees who are at Jakti camp, which is the symbol of our genocide, the only symbol which has is there for us to watch is Jakti camp where nearly 50,000 to 60,000 Kashmiri Hindu refugees are living.
Yeah.
Because they are in bad situation, they are in pathetic situation. And the fact is that none of the senior leaders of any political party have gone there, or that is not a priority for people to look after. If you have gone to Kashmir 10 times, I think we deserve to be visited, and we deserve to be addressed properly as to
Yes.
what are our needs. We don't have proper water facilities there. We don't have proper medical facilities there. We don't have proper educational facilities there. Because there's a lot of things happening in Kashmir, and I understand there are priorities. But now that things are under your control, things are there. My only appeal through a program, I've been making, a lot of people have been we have been working towards it, that a committee should be set up in the present government, which has to be responsible only to look after people living in Jakti camp.
Yeah.
It should be a 5-6 member committee.
Yeah.
They should only be given the job or task of looking after the problems and issues of Kashmiri Hindus living in Jakti, because that is the only place which reminds us of our genocide and using in 1990.
True. That is a very, very good suggestion. And I agree with you that the Kashmiri Pundits have to be consulted and their voices have to be heard as to what the next step forward should be. I totally agree with you on that. And that's another question that I received was, how safe do you think it is today to travel to the valley for any purposes? If a Kashmiri Pandit wanted to go there, be it nostalgia, be it, whatever reason. I know that a lot of Kashmiri Pandits that I talk to here in the US always talk about that. I myself, with my husband, we talk about, going to the valley. How safe is it to travel for somebody who wants to go?
I think it's quite safe. That unsafe and that safety or unsafe is all over the country. If you go to Delhi, if you go to other places in this country also, you go to Bengal, you see how people are being killed there, left, right, and center by the Mamata Banerjee party. So things are under control. Things are very much positive. Things are very good. In fact, we shot a song recently in Kashmir. We went there for 4 days and we shot a music video there. It's not only shooting there is not a barometer to explain the situation in Kashmir, but things have improved. You see, the biggest example, the biggest reason I can tell you that Kashmir is really improved and Kashmir is much better now is the way elections were held there.
Yes.
The way the political parties won the elections there. So if a place can organize elections successfully and people win elections and people come on the streets, that itself is an indication for atmosphere being right and good for all of us to now. So there are two aspects to this. One is that you go as a tourist, is one aspect. Second aspect is when we go back to a home to settle down. Tourism is one aspect of it, and settling down is another. So settling down needs proper planning and proper discussions, proper debates with the community.
As well as that, is the ultimate goal and dream for many of the Kashmiri Pandits who were displaced. So definitely. Okay, I do see that we are almost out of time. I would like to ask you one almost a personal question. What is it, Mr. Pandit, that you are most proud of when you speak for Kashmiri Pandit community and you are such an integral part of that community? What do you feel the most proud of?
I think we are the most secular, most nationalist, and the most loving people who believe in India, like other people. Because somebody when tries to give me lecture on secularism, I tell them that we lived in Kashmir at 3%, where 97% was Muslim population, and we lived there for umpteen number of years. So we are those people who would like to serve people, who like to treat people, and I think we are the best hosts when as far as feeding people, guests and people around us. तो जब
Yes.
खाने पीने में हम खिलाने पिलाने में हम मास्टर्स हैं, तो मुझे लगता है कि उससे बड़ी खासियत किसी भी कम्युनिटी की नहीं हो सकती.
True, true. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time today, Mr. Pandit. I really appreciate, I know you're a really, really busy man. I appreciate your time and I appreciate some of the nuances that you shed on the situation in Kashmir.
Yeah, I also would like to thank you, Deepika and Manan, that I think this is a very good thing that started because it's our duty to see to it that we get tremendous support. We garner some tremendous support for a person who is fighting for the growth of this country, who's fighting terrorism, who's fighting and with a glow in his eyes, with the confidence in his personality. It doesn't matter who abuses him, who talks anything against him. He is a man who's a missionary who believes in the growth of this country, that Narendra Modi. And let's stand by this man and see to it that this country, becomes stronger and stronger. And generations after us, they lead a good and a happy life in a very strong country of us.
Yes, very, very well said. Thank you so much, Mr. Pandit. Very nice to meet you and we hope to see you again.
Sure. Give a love to everyone at home.
I will. Thank you.
Especially your husband.
Definitely. Thank you. Take care. Namaskar.
Bye.